Good afternoon, ladies and gents. We've come today to meet one of our hero products or suppliers. Not a product, you're more than a product. This is Adam. We've been dealing with your sales from Yorkshire Rapeseed Oil for what?
15 years now, I think. Yeah,
15?
2010 when we first met you.
And where did we meet?
We we met one fateful Yorkshire Show day. I think it was a Wednesday. We'd gone and done something for a little tasting for George at Growing Roots.
Yes, gosh.
In one of the old bank buildings at the Yorkshire Show. And one of our very last customers of the day was a Mr. and Mrs. Copley who had looked like they had a very lovely day out.
Yes, we had a lovely day out, and then we tasted the products, didn't we?
You did.
They were on taste, and we got on like a house on fire, and we ordered all the products.
Ordered everything, and apart from one little emergency phone call from Rob the following day, checking we had barcodes, it's been hopefully plain sailing ever since.
Absolutely. So the reason that I wanted to come out today to see you is to show all our lovely customers this wonderful, lovely, bright yellow crop that we see in the fields all over the place at this time of year as part of the brassica family.
It is. Yeah.
Thank goodness I got that right. And this is what makes the wonderful rapeseed oils. And obviously we have the Charlie and Ivy's range, and which is named after your children.
Named after the children, yes.
And then we've also obviously got the Yorkshire Rapeseed, but they're all grown here. So tell us about, or try to explain how the customers, how this becomes your wonderful bread dippers and cooking oils.
No problem at all. So there's a very common misconception in the world. So people see this, I think generally they know what the yellow flowers are and it's something to do with obviously grape, but there's a very common misconception around the public that it's actually something to do with the flowers that we actually press to create the oil. Whereas actually the flowers haven't got long left on this plant now, so they're going to start wilting in the coming couple of weeks. But what you have got, if you can see these here, is these pods just starting to form on the stems just up here. Now, over the course of between now and we're stood here in early May, and we'll harvest this crop in around August time. Those pods are going to develop little seeds in them. So the best way to describe them is, I guess, is like little pea pods to make them relevant for people to understand. So those little seeds will develop. The plant will naturally die back, and those seeds actually contain the oil. And what we have to do is just add a lot of mechanical pressure to those seeds. We what's called cold press it. So all we're doing is adding mechanical pressure to the seeds to just gently squeeze that oil straight from the seed. So that retains all the goodness of the oil, because we don't need to add any processing aids or any chemicals or anything to do to get the oil out of it. So yeah, it's just a case of crushing little seeds that are all grown in those pods.
But from my old agronomy days, it's quite hard to get it right, because if I remember correctly, this will ripen a lot further ahead. That doesn't that's where you harvest it when it's like that, and then this is not as ripe, isn't it?
Yes,
it's a balancing act.
There is a little bit of a balancing act in there as well. Yeah, no, your smaller pods on the top will always ripen earlier on, and there's always a bit of risk with rapeseed as well. And I've seen it happen once on the farm before that you end up with nearly ripe crops, and then a big hail shower or something will come through and then knock all the seeds out of it, because it is very, very fragile.
The pods will almost split,
almost shatter. Yes. There is varieties now that are slightly more pliable in the pod, so they don't come out as much. But it's a very risky time in rapeseed farming.
And do you have on the varieties? Do you stick with one same variety, or do you introduce new ones, or trial a few each year? Or
we do tend to stick with one variety every year, and we do generally introduce it maybe 2 or 3 years, and then as things move on, plant breeds move on, we will move to a new variety. But what the thing that makes our oil, we think, different to a lot of others is actually the type of soil that it's grown in. So we are nearly 800 feet above sea level. We have very chalky soil, very light soil, easy draining soil, and we do notice a difference if we've ever crushed any seed that hasn't come from up here on top of the walls. We do see a different flavour profile to it.
I think, touching on the soil, I don't think people realise how imperative the soil is to everything they
everything they eat.
So I quite often say to customers, if you eat Cheshire cheese, it's salty. And it's salty because the bedrock in Cheshire is salt. So the salt comes from the bedrock into the soil, into the grass, into the cows, into the milk. And it's exactly the same with this, with the light chalky
with the light chalky soil.
You'll be getting the light
adds a very different flavour to
flavour
it.
to it.
Yeah, definitely.
And what's your favourite thing about? What's
And my favourite thing about the plant, I would have to say, is the colour and the fact that at this time of year it looks amazing. You can look out over the view wherever you are up here and normally spot a field somewhere. So
more over there,
there's a
isn't
little
there?
bit over there as well. Yeah, actually we're a little bit lighter this year, but luckily we have one right in front of us.
Yes. But it's
Um,
spring, isn't it?
but
It
it is spring,
signifies
yeah.
spring.
It signifies spring, and I think it's a really nice. Yeah, it reminds you of the weather getting better, and it tends to come out just before the trees come out. So yeah, just I love
It's
it
lovely.
because of the time of year and it's the colour.
I think this is taller than Aussie Red used to be when I was an economist.
You do get slightly different. You do get slightly different varieties, some of which is shorter, but yeah, it does seem to get taller every year.
Although having said that, where I used to be agronomist was in Dorset, and it was on clayey soils.
It
So
could be
going
that,
back
yeah.
to the soil, I bet the soil kept it
And
not as light.
and if you look across it as well, you can kind of see some dips and holes in the actual
I can't
crop.
see anything from down here.
But I think that is to do as well. You know, we've not ploughed anything here for a few years now. The soil's really starting to, where it's healthier shows the healthier plants, and where it's not as healthy for some reason or another, it really shows unhealthy plants as well.
Yeah. Talking on the health benefits, very nicely segued in there, I must say, Adam. Why should we be using rapeseed oil in our cooking? What's this one big
So there's a couple of big
benefit, isn't
things
there?
in there. So dietary wise, it depends on what you're really looking for, but essentially, within the individual diet, but actually it's got very low saturated fat content. So people compare it to such as an olive oil, you've got about half the saturated fat in it compared to an olive oil. But the main thing for me is that it's actually got a really high smoke point and burn point. So I think what a lot of people don't understand about oil is that if you cook with it till it smokes, it becomes really bad for you.
Yeah.
And a lot of oils have quite low smoke points, whereas rapeseed oil has a smoke point of around 220 degrees, which means that you can do everything with it from stir fry, what fry.
Yeah.
You can see these steaks with it, whatever you want to do. Roast your potatoes with it. It can do everything. So it's just a really versatile oil, which means that it's kind of if you want it to be, it's the only oil that you actually need in your kitchen.
Yes, I have it in our kitchen all the time, and then literally salad dressings right the way through to
absolutely.
roasting, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Easy as well.
Easy, yes. You don't need anything else.
And which is your favourite product?
Oh,
I know what mine is.
I am one of those terrible people that what I do is I have a favourite product and then I use it all the time until I'm sick of it, and then it's not my favourite product anymore. But currently, this time of year, I'm always on almond balsamic dressing because it goes really nicely with spring summer salads like couscous and with a bit of feta and a bit of olives and that sort of stuff in there, and it really goes really nicely over new potatoes as well, which is very typical of this time of year. So I think this time of year, mine is the mint balsamic. What's yours?
Mine is the rosemary.
Oh, really?
They're the rosemary.
For roasting?
Oil, yeah. For everything. I like rosemary, but I use it on roast potatoes on a Sunday all the time.
Yeah,
and I use it with salads, and I even put it with steaks.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
nice.
Just put on everything. It's great.
The only oil you need.
Exactly, one-stop shop. So, have we got anything new planned for?
So we're always looking at slightly new things. We're always looking at new product development. I can't release all of that information right now, obviously.
But obviously we will let everybody know as and when.
Yeah, we will. But yeah, I mean, we try to launch a limited edition something every year. The limited edition this year is a lemon and caper dressing.
Available in the farm shop.
Available in the farm shop. Yeah, we should do the sales pitch. So we will generally put a limited edition out in both Charlie and Ivy's and Yorkshire Rapeseed Oil every year. So just to keep things a little bit interesting, really. But yeah, we're working on a couple of projects for ranges that are a little bit different to what we're currently doing. So hopefully by next year at this time, you shall know a little bit more.
Excellent. So how many acres have you got of the rapeseed?
So actually we only have this field this year, which is about 25 acres. So we're only quite a small arable farm, hence why we sort of started with the diversification to start with, really. So we grow the rapeseed about one in every 8 years up here.
Okay.
So
And you make it on site.
Make all the productions on site, the pressings on site, and the and where we make all the products as well. So yeah,
can we see?
You can have a look.
Okay,
yes,
let's go have a look. So in there, harvested.
Yeah, so harvested. You'll have seen. I don't know whether you saw outside. There was a little pit. That's where the seed comes in. It's stored in the bins here. So we batch it per bin. So 30 ton of bin creates a batch of oil. That
30 tons. How many litres?
Around about. We get about 30. We can't get it all out, so 9 to 10,000 litres out of a 30 ton batch. The green press was our original one, and then we've added to it over the years. But essentially, the press, all it's doing is just screwing the seed into a cone effectively.
Right.
So further down, the tighter it gets, the more it squeezes the oil out. The oil, as a crude oil, lands in that tank below the presses. It's then pumped through 3 filters. So we have a plate filter and then a 5 micron, 1 micron pouch and bag filter. And the clean oil ends up in the top tank up here, to which then we batch off and fly with seeds. And then we can just pop it. Basically, anything that goes into production goes. Everything we like to keep as simple as possible, so head height or above head height or such. So that feeds production for blend and that so we have a little look at them putting in bottles.
The waste?
It goes to cattle feed.
Right.
So generally, it's actually they're using it for a variety of different things in cattle at the moment. But essentially, it's got a lot of energy because it's still got quite a bit of oil in there, and it really makes them look good. But interestingly, we've been trialing it with Warrendale Wagyu for a while now, and they're saying it's actually adding to some marbling in the meat as well. So it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? So it's quite nice to have. We really use nearly everything that comes out of that seed, really. So we're gonna have a look.